Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, May 5th, 2017. Welcome to another eBay video that I hope you will find helpful. As you can see, I'm inside today. Do you want to take a guess why? It's raining out, and I mean pouring. Let me open the door here real quick, and you can just listen to this. All right, you can hear it. Now you can see it. So yeah, every week I come out here and talk to you guys, and you have to admit, guys, it's cloudy and rainy every day here. It will not stop. You want to see what my weather looks like? Here, how would you like to have this? There's my weather in the middle of May, or the beginning of May. 53 degrees and rain, and cloudy and rain every single day. That's all we ever get. All right, let's talk about eBay, because I know that's why you're tuning in. Today we're going to discuss several topics, including your comments on last week's video. We're going to discuss a little bit about eBay Open. If time permits, I would like to tell you a story about cancellations, returns, and privacy. It'll be a rather long story, but you'll find it really interesting if I do have enough time. And we're going to talk about some other eBay issues, including the China sellers. Yes, folks, I've got some good news for you. But let's get started in the usual order by firstly going over your comments from last week's video. First, on duplicate listings, Skinny Cow wrote, I wonder how eBay didn't automatically pick up those duplicate listings. It looked like the guy had about 6,000 items and 600 were duplicates, so about 10%. On occasion, I have accidentally hit relist an item in eBay and I get an error message that says something like this. There's a duplicate listing and eBay won't list it. I'm curious to see how this China seller has been able to usurp this eBay automation. He's right. There have been a few times where I have accidentally relisted an item that I had currently listed, meaning I initiated a duplicate listing, and I got an error message from eBay in red. Okay? They don't like that. It only happened to me once. It happened to me last year, because I was listing while talking on the phone to Gary. Hello, Gary. And I wasn't paying attention and I made a mistake. But I wonder how these guys with these duplicate listings in red, like I showed you last week, are able to bypass the system. Something doesn't make sense. Michael Baumberger stated that he found a guy that had 10,000 duplicates. I checked his user ID, and a lot of them were not red. A lot of them were in the white and mustard category, which are lower class violations. He had quite a few in red, but not as many as my guy. I think my guy is still number one. On China sellers, I had quite a few people write in. South Buffalo wrote, Joe, what is nuts? China sellers can sell an item for 79 cents free shipping. Then they cover ePacket, eBay, and PayPal fees, but a U.S. seller gets hammered for shipping with tracking, $2.77 plus fees, cost of goods, etc. It's really hurting U.S. sellers. Well, Mr. South Buffalo, I've got some really good news for you, as evidenced by the title of this week's video. Let me just hold off on that until I read everybody else's comments and go over all that. Skinny Cow was back again with the China sellers. China sellers can sell and ship an item for less than the domestic shipping alone for a U.S. seller. Example, a $10 item is bought from a China seller, including shipping to the U.S. It would cost the U.S. seller $10 for postage alone, let alone the cost of the item. How can China sellers ship for virtually nothing? It's because the Communist Chinese government has protectionism in place whereby they subsidize heavily international freight costs. This gives the China sellers an unfair state-sponsored advantage over the U.S. sellers whose government won't protect them from the actions of the Chinese government. Great show as usual, Joe. And great comment there, Skinny Cow. I'll address your comment with South Buffaloes in a minute. Lastly, on the China sellers, D. Kelly wrote in, bam, win number one. The China sellers of the fake Buick center caps are all gone. Seems someone is listening. Check it out, Joe. Calls for a drink. Thanks, Joe. Well, Kelly, right here, you can thank me on that. I said last week, in last week's video, and any one of you guys can backtrack to it, I said I have initiated some steps that I can't talk about right now. I said give me a week or two and I'll tell you what I did. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Win one for the good guys! And lastly, on promoted listings, viewer 579700295 said, Joe, you mentioned sales. I only have 42 promoted listings because I'm not in the beta program. While reviewing my activity, I noticed a trend. I have only sold a few items through promoted in the past month. The impressions graph seems to follow very closely to my overall sales. Last Saturday, my impressions took a downward spiral until it hit a low point on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, it spiked way up and has stayed up. Thursday morning, I had a crazy number of shipments. Look at your impressions and see if you notice a parallel here. I sell in different categories, mostly eBay motors and clothing. How many impressions should we be getting based on a 7% ad fee? I got 59,000 for the month on 42 items. I checked my graph after I read his comment. And do you know, on Tuesday, I also hit bottom, selling absolutely nothing through promoted listings? Zero. Tuesday, now he jumped back up Wednesday where I didn't. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, bang, zero for me. So there may be something going on with promoted listings, or maybe it's just a coincidence, I don't know. So yeah. All right, now let's talk about the China sellers and those dreaded ePackets. First of all, in case you don't know it, the ePacket deal was a deal brokered some time ago by the United Postal Union. It's an archaic system and it hurts all United States sellers. All of us. You and me. We've talked about this for a long, long time. We, the United States citizens and sellers, are actually paying for the China shipments that are coming to the United States for next to nothing. So we're actually getting stung two ways, by subsidizing their shipments and by losing the sales to the China sellers. Well, I'm happy to report eBay has taken steps to address this. Yes, folks, this week that just passed, I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, some eBay representatives, including Mr. Hal Lawton, flew to Washington, D.C. to address the United States government officials and state our case as eBay sellers that we are sick of these China sellers being catered to at our expense. eBay has taken the necessary steps and they have been heard. I cannot give you an exact time frame on this, but look for these ePackets as we know them to come to an end. It's about damn time. I would like to thank Mr. Hal Lawton and some top-rated sellers who are friends of mine, including Kathy Terrell, and some other sellers who flew to Washington to speak for us. They did us a great service, and I'm very thankful to them, and this is going to help all of us sell on eBay and become more successful than we already are. Now, that's problem number one with the China sellers, is their ePackets. Problem number two is their counterfeit merchandise. Let's address that briefly. As D. Kelly said, There is one particular seller that we've managed to expunge from the platform. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Hold all the applause. I told you I am not standing for this copyright crap. All right? There are two type China sellers. The ones who are based in China and ship out of China, who are somewhat untouchable. Then you got the ones who list their address in the United States that are buying containers of this crap and putting name brands on them, such as Gucci, Rolex, Toyota, if it's in eBay Motors, and getting away with it. Now, because that's happening in the United States, those people are reachable. Oh, yes, they are. It is a huge, huge crime to put a name brand emblem or logo on an item and ship it through the post office. A lot of you guys don't know that, but I do. So as I said, I've taken some steps, and I can't reveal all of them yet because some of them are still ongoing. But D. Kelly, if you're interested, contact me, all right? Because you can be help here, because you're also a seller in eBay Motors. And if any of you guys are sellers, whether you're in eBay Motors or not, you can make a difference because it's hurting you. For instance, you Rolex watch sellers, I know nothing about jewelry. You do. Do you realize you can make a difference by contacting the right people about this? Depending on the company that we're talking about, I can't swear every company is going to take action, but many will, if the seller is based in the United States. This is something we all need to jump on board and help each other with, okay? In last week's video, I post them, as you know, Friday night at 7 o'clock at night. I often try and respond for the first hour or two and interact with your comments. Excuse me while I get a drink. Sorry, it's generic white cup time. I don't have the official Fox News cup here. I sure wish I did. But as I was saying, I didn't get to respond to any comments last week because I was actually out of town. I went to a huge flea market with a friend of mine. We used his truck, and man, we scored. We bought a lot. It's a yearly event that happens every spring, and it was last weekend. So we went to it. Man, that is really a taxing endeavor. To walk all around 3 football fields worth of merchandise. I was loading them into a 64-gallon heavy-duty plastic garbage can, wheeling it, then going out to his truck, dumping it, and coming in for another hit. We did very well last week's flea market. Also, which may be noteworthy, last week I was invited to the ribbon cutting ceremony of the Kosciuszko Bridge in Queens, the opening of the brand new bridge. It was by invitation only. It was a high honor. I got to meet Governor Cuomo of New York, and I photographed it and I videoed it. And I have enough material to make a video. I still haven't done it because I'm just so far behind doing other things. So I might make a video about the Kosciuszko Bridge ribbon cutting ceremony, and I might also do one about the flea market. If you guys think I should do either one or have any interest, comment below. Because I haven't done anything with them yet, nor have I done anything with my 10-year anniversary video. I haven't started it. I'm just so far behind with eBay work, and I've been spending a lot of time contacting people on eBay, if you get me on that. eBay has announced officially that eBay Open will be held July 25th to the 27th. I've spoken about this before. I'm not going to get into it today. It's too early. Except, please guys, if you can, take some time off from work and meet me there. I would love to see each and every one of you. Another new topic that I think is very important has to do with Canadian buyers. Have you guys ever heard the term de minimis? I have never heard that term until just yesterday. Let me explain what de minimis is. De minimis is a fee, or an amount rather, a threshold that a buyer can meet before he has to pay customs duties. For instance, here in the United States, our de minimis is $800. That means if I was to buy an item from a Canadian seller right now, and it's under $800, I'm fine. I do not have to pay a de minimis customs fee. However, if it's over $800, I do have to pay the customs fee. Whereas Canadian buyers have a de minimis of a mere $20, which is ridiculous. That means anytime a Canadian buyer wants to buy an item from us, and that item is over $20, they have to pay a customs fee. eBay has addressed this with our elected officials this week. And hopefully that is going to change, just like the ePackets is going to change. Do you know Canada is the #1 export country on eBay? Which means we ship to Canadian buyers more than any other single country on eBay. Question number 1, do you guys ship to Canada that often? I ship periodically to Canada. I actually had one Canadian buyer this week, but I do feel if they would raise the de minimis substantially, that we could get a lot more Canadian buyers, and that would be great. I use the global shipping program for all of my shipping, with the exception of Canada. For me, it's quicker and cheaper to ship directly to Canada than to use the GSP, although I use the GSP for all my other shipping orders. I am running quite late this week, as you know. That's why I'm here at work on a Friday afternoon banging out this video. So I will not be able to do the Hall of Shame segment this week. Okay? What I will do instead, I will talk to you guys about returns, cancellations, and privacy issues on eBay. As you know, I get quite a few returns. I had been getting 3 a week, but that's no longer the case. Now I'm going to double it to 6 a week. 6 returns a week. Unbelievable, because nobody reads. On a positive note, every single person is honest and legit. They contact me and say they purchased the wrong item. Some of them do it through eBay messages and say they bought the wrong size. Some of them do it, they call me directly, which they really shouldn't. But anyway, it all works out at the end. The only way I can adapt to this, because this is a problem that's not going to end, is to start charging shipping on almost every single item, bar none, with the exception of my small, lightweight, first-class packages. So I am in the process of retooling to charge shipping. There's no other way. Now, as it happens, I received calls this week from 2 other sellers on eBay Motors. Not subscribers of mine per se, but people who are in my line of work who sells wheels and hubcaps. The thing is, often one of us will run out of stock on a certain item. Maybe they sold it on eBay and they need to buy one from me. So I had 2 calls this week from 2 of my folks, and one of them, we got into discussions, and I said to him, by the way, do you get a lot of returns on eBay? And he said, Jesus Christ, do we get returns? We get tons of them. I said, what is the reason, the #1 reason most people give you a return? And you know what he said? It's when he sells one hub to a person and they think they were getting all 4. How many times have I come out here and said the same thing to you? My #1 reason is truthfully wrong size. But my #2 reason would be people thinking they're getting 4 when they were only getting 1. The second person called me up and he went into a tirade about the China sellers, and I decided to go a little further prodding. I said, listen, have you seen so-and-so? I'm not going to reveal his name now, but there's this one particular seller in the United States who I've alluded to before. who is buying this cheap China crap by the container, putting legit logos from Toyota and other name brands and claiming they're real. So I said to this cat, I said, have you seen what so-and-so is doing? Oh my God, you think I'm ballistic on this? This guy started cursing and going like crazy. He said yes, he knew all about it. He even called the guy up on the phone and confronted him and said, why are you selling cheap China crap and representing it as legit? And the guy hung up the phone on him. So myself and this other seller in eBay Motors discussed what could be done. And this was actually a week and a half ago when he called. And he's on board and we're getting things done. Now about cancellations. Here's something that is upsetting to me. And it's very important, and I want everybody to pay attention to this. eBay says all transactions are to be kept on eBay, no matter what. And I fully support that. I think it's great and it's safe. But there's a quirk. There's a quirk in eBay rules or eBay operations that can lead to problems. It's happened to me several times. Oddly enough, all the times it happened to me has been in the last year. Most recently, last week. So let me tell you how this happened. And I think it's happened to some of you guys too. A buyer with zero feedback on a brand new guest account contacts me on an item I'm selling. I'm selling a set of 4 hubs. And they ask me a legit question. Is this listing for one or all 4? I said, you're getting all 4. Totally legit. 10 minutes later, the iPhone goes cha-ching, the person bought. Okay? I'll wait a few minutes. All right. I get the items, I box them up, print out a label. No problem. Maybe an hour goes by, and I check my messages, and I have a cancel request order from this same person. Now they want to cancel the order, which seems very fishy to me because they knew they were getting 4. They asked me, am I getting 1 or 4? I answered in a positive way, you're getting 4. They bought them, and now they want to cancel. Like maybe they found it cheaper somewhere else. However, because they waited too long, I had already printed out the label. eBay stepped in and sent them an automated message saying it's too late to cancel. Now for that, I applaud eBay. I applaud them. Before I go any further with this story, let me just backtrack to last year. The same exact thing happened to me last year with a slightly different twist. I was selling in a quantity listing anywhere between 1 and 4 hubs. The default listing is for 1, as you know. So a person with zero feedback, guest account, comes swooping in, changes the quantity to 4. So they knew they were buying 4. Bang. Bought them, paid for them. Same thing happens. I print out the label, they wait a few hours and they try and cancel. And eBay says, no, it's too late, you can't cancel. So I ship the item out. Back that time I was very worried. And I said, I don't know what this person's going to do. Are they going to try and send them back? Are they going to try and do something? But I never heard from them again. They kept the item. And there was never an issue. But I always wonder why they tried to cancel. I imagine they found them cheaper somewhere else, just like in this case. Now, let's pick up the story from the other night again. As I said, the person tried to cancel. eBay said, no, 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 it's too late. The label's already been printed, they've been shipped. So far, everything's fine. I have no issues or complaints. But what happened next really pisses me off. This newbie with zero feedback on a guest account somehow managed to get my personal contact information from eBay. My personal contact information can be accessed if you know what you're doing, and I'm surprised that this person was able to do it. This is 11 o'clock at night, by the way. All right? Do you know that person contacted me 11 o'clock at freaking night? Oh no, not at my house. Oh no, no, no. They contacted me right here at work. And I knew they were going to do it. I suspected it. So the next day when I came into work, I checked the caller ID, and sure enough, there's their number, 11 o'clock at night. Now, this, in my opinion, is a privacy violation. I don't think eBay should be giving out our personal contact information to anybody for any reason at any time. It's wrong. They've done it since day one, and this is something I'm going to lobby against when I talk to them this summer. I want your feelings on this. Every one of you, I want to hear from. What legit reason does a buyer have to circumvent eBay and call you at your house or your business at 11 o'clock at night? All right? No. If they bought a wrong item or want to cancel, I get that. But they can do that through eBay. They should not be allowed to contact you directly. On one hand, eBay says keep everything, all transactions on eBay. Then on the other hand, they facilitate these people to call you 11 o'clock at night. This is not the first time this has happened. This is at least the third time. It's wrong, and I think it should stop. What's your opinion? I would like to know. All right. I've kept you longer than I should. Sorry, guys, but I have a lot of material to cover. I'm Crazy New York Driver. You're not. Thanks for watching. Please check in again next Friday night when I'll have another new video. Please address the questions I asked you, because I want your opinion. I want to see how you guys feel about eBay giving out our contact information. I don't think they should ever do that. It's not a problem I've had a lot. It's not a widespread problem, but a person calls me 11 o'clock at night to cancel an order. That's wrong. That is wrong. And eBay really needs to step up and do something about that. If you have any comments about the China seller epackets, about the de minimis as it affects Canadian buyers, comment below. Thanks for watching. Remember, guys, I come out here each week and make these videos to try and help you. I am a seller friend, not a seller critic, and certainly not a skeptic of any kind. I am here to help you make sales, and I want you to make them. Make some sales. I'll see you guys next week. So remember, peace! Yeah!